She was near the sideshow tents. He moved slowly. Circus people working nearby who saw him sometimes waved, sometimes called a greeting. His tusks were his identifying mark, letting them know it was him and not one of the other elephants who'd escaped. They didn't ask why he'd changed or where he was going. They knew it was none of their business. If he needed their help, he'd let them know, and vice versa. Kai must have heard someone greet him out loud. He caught wind of her approaching, until she appeared around the corner of the stage. She halted in her tracks, not daring to come any closer. He noticed her glancing around, probably looking for human Toby. To reassure her, he lifted his trunk and bleated softly. When she didn't move, he took one step toward her and extended his trunk as far as he could. Less than a yard separated them. His heart beat furiously. The bees stung the interior of his stomach until it was no more than a cluster of hard, tightening welts. Ever since he'd first seen her, he wanted to touch her, to bury his face in her thick black hair, and to run his hands over her soft skin. As Toby the human, he couldn't do that, not without permission, and that wouldn't come about unless there was a closer, more emotional connection between them. But as Toby the elephant, as long as he didn't frighten her, he could roam over her body the same way the girls had done. He could get his fill of her scent. He could touch her body in almost intimate ways. All he needed was for her to take that first step toward him, to let him know she wanted that contact. Kai raised her hand, a partial apple in her palm, and extended it outward to him. One hesitant step forward, he closed the distance between them and gently took the apple, placing it in his mouth to eat. Reassured, Kai slowly came up to him. She kept her hands out, palms up to show him she meant him no harm. "Hello, Toby. My name's Kai. You are magnificent. So handsome. Do you know that? You are the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So strong, brave, mighty." Her voice was soothing, washing over him like spring rain. He turned his head to one side to stare at her. Feeling more emboldened, the young woman reached out and rubbed his forehead with one hand as her other grasped one of his tusks. "You are so powerful. Do you know you're an Indian elephant? You and the others?" She smiled at him and lightly touched his ear. "You have smaller ears than an African elephant. That's how I knew." She continued to caress him. At one point she pressed her forehead to his. "Toby, don't tell anyone, but your human caretaker, the other Toby, I like him. I like him a lot, but I don't know. I think there could be something between us, but I get the sense he doesn't feel about me the way I'm starting to feel about him. I feel he's either unsure or shy. Maybe both. Maybe neither. But I want to work with you. I want to work with him. Maybe if he notices I'm not afraid of you, he'll change his mind. I don't know. I'm confused, but I hope to sort it out." She opened her eyes, and Toby saw the glimmer of tears lining her lower lashes. "Just keep this between us, okay? Don't let him know what I told you. It'll be just our little secret." Toby felt his mouth go dry. Should he change now and let her know? Or should he remain as he was? How much longer could he continue to keep her in the dark? Especially now, after she'd confessed she was attracted to his human persona. Lifting the tip of his trunk, he ran it over her head and down to her shoulder, breathing in her unique and wonderful scent. His knees were wobbly, threatening to give way as he fought the need to reveal his secret to her, fighting with himself as he battled his inner turmoil, fighting years of being forced to keep his strangeness under the radar. Kai ran her hand down his tusk once more and kissed his forehead. It was at that moment that he knew he could no longer deceive her. She had to know the truth before it became more complicated, before he lost any chance of having her. Gunshots rang out. At the same instant, the ground at his feet exploded from a bullet's impact.